Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Podfathers, the best parenting podcast in the universe, presented by Barstool Sports. It's your pal Clem here. It's Daddy Boy down in Texas, and we got rid of that big old lummox. We sent Large to the Bahamas because he's working oh so hard, following boxers around and fanboying out. And we said, hey, if Large is out, we could have Kate on because I know they really don't get along inside and outside the office. So we finally got to have Kate on, as we've been teasing for weeks.
That guy's scumbag.
Real asshole.
Real piece of shit. Yeah.
So we said we're going to have Kate on, get a little update of how motherhood is treating her and how she's treating motherhood right back. We get the obviously the Instagram, Twitter updates, on the Barstool Grown Up as well. We get a couple shorts here and there as well. How are we doing, Catherine?
We're doing good. I'm excited to be here. I am tired a little bit, coming off a whole week of missed daycare due to a nasty cold. Which I now have. So yeah, just all my shoulders. It looks like you'd think maybe I have a parrot that's shitting on me all the time. It's just snot. I'm just like a human tissue these days. It's crust. It's on. I can't wear dark colored clothes now because it's like slug trails just all over me, which is, yeah. Anyway, I'm great. How are you guys?
I could see the joy welling up in Chaps' eyes as he hears you just, relay your misery over to him.
Yeah.
I think there's something about it that's maybe still the old Marine Corps relationship that Kate and I would have. I just love it when junior troops are in pain. So like her going through a hard time just brings me back.
Yeah, I'm doing all right though.
That was something that we had talked about a few weeks ago, and I had forgotten all about it. But Lark had said, hey, now that the masks are off and the kids are all in school, everyone's going to start getting sick again. And you said it, you had it there. We had the stomach bug followed by some horrific cough that we're all just getting over now. It is the absolute fucking worst. It's the worst thing ever. Childhood, or parenthood, I should say, not childhood's the best. Looking back now, childhood's the best thing that ever happened.
It depends on who you are, I guess. It could go either way, I suppose. But yeah, I had a pretty sick one too, man. Yeah, great.
It was pretty sweet. It was pretty good times.
Yeah.
Chapsy boy down in Texas. How was the boxing match? You and Large took in the fights together?
Boxing was good, but I have a proclamation and a confession to make to the entire pod fam. I ruined Large's trip down here. Honest to God, I did. Because one, I haven't been out a whole lot here. I've probably gone out to eat 5 or 6 times. I'm just kind of over going out to eat and like getting dressed up, finding a place for my kids to go, figuring all this shit out. I just don't have any desire to do it. So I'm not going out as much. A new restaurant opened. It was called Maverick Whiskey here. And it said everything's from Texas. All the whiskey's from Texas. All the gin that they make is from Texas. The steak, everything that they bring in, all of it's Texas. Large had said that he wanted a Texas spot. This place had like 1,000 reviews on Yelp, and it was like 4.8 stars, everybody glowing. We walk in there. I expected it to be busy, so I made a reservation. There's 4 other people at the bar. The restaurant is completely empty. We end up staying because we ordered our food. It comes out, and it is just bad. Like all across the board, it was bad. It was expensive and bad, which makes it even worse whenever you go to a place like that. When you pay $80, $90 for a steak and it comes out and it looks like it was from Denny's, you're just like, you motherfuckers, you honey dicked us with that from Texas shit.
That actually sucks because if you took me there, I'd be like, this is a treat. Wow. But it's large.
I know. Worse because it's large.
And he's like a foodie. So he knows when shit's bad.
And that's what I told him. I was like, it's impossible for me to take you out here. Like people that live in Manhattan coming down here, it's like, well, what do you have good? Well, nothing comparatively, unless you want to go to eat barbecue. Like that's the only thing that we have. Like one of my favorite places is a Spanish tapas spot where they fly in octopus from Spain. Lars doesn't give a shit about that. There's 8 spots like that within 2 minutes from the office.
Large can hunt his own octopus, like his spot, right? Like that's just how it goes.
He's probably got octopus.
Now that's
behind the bocce ball court.
On the bocce ball called that motherfucker. You got really lucky. The fucking wheel of destiny smiled upon you. Large is not here to rip you a new asshole, even though it sounds like you ripped him a new asshole with this food because he had to make a beeline. The upset essentially Large gets diarrhea instead of Daddy Boy Chapsy. And
who would have thought? Who would have thought? We were at this Irish bar after we ate, talking to some pod fam members actually. Nice. And Lars looks at me and he's like, I've got to go or I'm going to make a mess on this floor. I was like, all right, dude, see you later. Yeah. And he and it wasn't, we don't see each other all that often, but it was one of those, you could tell one of your buddies really's got to go because he's like, all right, man, see you later. You got the bill? Yeah, cool. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's the worst feeling. So every New Year's Eve, I used to have this tradition with my brother where we would go to Fogo de Chao. And then this is down in Philly because we do the mummers real big. And our tradition was we'd go to Fogo de Chao. We'd eat as much meat as possible. And Chaps knows the meat sweats well.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you might.
Can confirm. Yes.
You eat as much meat as you can. And then we would go out afterwards with our cousins and booze it up, which is rough. And the one year I decided to have a bunch of Irish coffees after Fogo de Chao. I don't know why. When I tell you,
what the fuck is wrong with you, Kate?
I pretty much had to scoot to the back of the hotel like a golden retriever on a carpet. I was like, oh shit. But it's the worst when you're out and it hits you like that because you don't want to be in a bar. You don't want to be.
You don't like, and not in a bar somewhere downtown. Like, I think it's fine if you're in a small, like, clean restaurant, like you can deal with it. But if you're in any kind of bar that has an Irish theme, that's not where you want to be. You just don't.
No, we're not known for our clean toilets.
No. Ghost toilets.
Our boy Large, I think this trip, chaps, this Bahamas trip is the trip that was canceled, like running. I think it was like planned in March of 2020 is when he was supposed to originally take it. And then obviously the entire world shut down. And every single time he just got butt fucked out of the blue by some sort of, pandemic related delay. So shout out our guy Large for being out there. I am currently in I feel like every other week I'm making this announcement. My kids are just home for the week. We have spring break here, Chapsy.
You're honest to God, Nick. I feel like my kids are out from school for the week cut up of Clem over the last 4 months. It's just a constant stream. You just get the fucking Christian work from home school stuff. Like, just cut out the middleman. If you're going to do it half time, you might as well do it full time.
Just embrace the suck. Yeah, exactly. Embrace the suck. Teach them myself. Save some money on. I guess I wouldn't save it on taxes, but I guess I'd have to not have to just bust them out of the house. It's like, because that's the hardest thing. I got to get them fed, get them dressed. Nope, kids, we're learning in our pajamas today. We play some Mario Brothers as I yell stuff at you, essentially, and then we just go back. Brandon Walker does it, right? He has at least a couple of the kids are being homeschooled.
Yeah, and I think it's sneaky great, like, to do it during. That was one of the only redeemable parts of the pandemic, was not having to get up and take a second grader to school like every single day. Like, not having to set your alarm for 6:30 and be like, hey, little child that could use this sleep in order for your brain to develop, wake up. You got to go sit and crisscross applesauce to listen to roll call at 7:45 because that's the way we've always done it.
Circle time, my ass.
Let's do that. Getting the baby ready for daycare every morning is like, it's like a 3-hour whirlwind of insanity somehow.
Let's walk through your morning. Walk us through your morning, Kate.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I never set an alarm because I know that my guy is going to be up. It's not even a question. Usually I'm just already up with him sitting in this chair that I have the laptop sitting on right now. While we watch the sunrise together. His MO is he wakes up around 4:50 and he says, I'm ready for the day. 4:50, 5:15-ish, and he's done. There's no getting him back down no matter what I do. I've learned to not even try. And this is after he wakes up several times throughout the night and he just wants to, like, say hey, pretty much. And I'm a sucker. So I'm like, all right, I'll come hang out. All right. Anyway, so we wake up, we're a little tired. I set him in. Miss Rachel is the hot new ticket item on baby TV. She's just this lady who I think she went to her and her NYU buddies started just singing kids songs in their apartments during COVID. And they have like 80 million views now. And it's like baby crack. So I set him down in front of that with some puffs.
This is YouTube. We're talking here.
This is YouTube. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know there's going to be parents who are going to be like, I need some fucking crack to give my child right now. YouTube is the way to go.
Miss Rachel, I'm telling you. And it's like, you don't feel bad because she's teaching them stuff. So you're like, okay, it's fine. I set him down in front of that and I hope to God he doesn't move. I kind of create a nest of blankets and pillows that I attempt to keep him in. Now he's climbing on the couch. So that's whatever. I run into the kitchen meanwhile, and I try to make his bottles, get all his stuff ready. Somebody would say, why didn't you do that the night before? That's not the kind of person I am. I'm a piece of shit and I just won't do that ever. So it's like a mad rush every morning that could be prevented, but I won't.
I actually had one of those thoughts, Kate, because I feel like sometimes our brains work on the same type of wavelengths. And I do that shit constantly. Where if I have to do something in the morning, I'll be like, oh, that's going to take me fucking no time in the morning, when I could do it now and have so much less to worry about. But I do have to look at these TikTok videos that are coming up. So I don't know if I want to do it right now.
Right. I'm busy TikToking at night. I don't have time to do this stuff.
Right.
And also I don't want his formula to go stale, which is
True.
a whole other, yeah, whatever. Anyway,
Does it go stale like in 12 hours?
If it's in the fridge, I don't know. There's so much I don't know still, which I should know.
And every answer you get twice in different ways on the internet.
Every answer is different. I don't know. So I make it fresh for my guy in the morning. I rush doing that, which it takes longer than you think somehow. And then I have to get his food ready every day. There's an app and they tell you what he needs, blah, blah, blah. So I run around grabbing all that stuff. And then you got to get his diaper changed. You got to get him dressed. I still have to feed him a little bit in the morning, something besides puffs, so feeding him. And then there's boogers and then there's a blowout. And so you got to start all over again and blah, blah, blah. And by the time it's time to go, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm still in my pajamas and I look like dog shit, whatever, we're on the way. And then I like to walk him. It's a few blocks away. So whatever the weather, I'm like, we're getting our fresh air. So he's wearing like 15 layers. We're in the rain, whatever. Am I a bad mom?
No, I think you're putting in a whole lot of effort.
Anyway.
I think that's
You're
half
a
the
mom.
battle.
You're a mom is what you are.
Yeah. So then I roll up to the daycare and as soon as he goes through the door, I cannot watch him go through the door still. I'm like, ugh, it feels like I'm getting stabbed in the heart every single time. And so then I walk away and then I get like a block away and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, wow. What a rush. I dropped him off. Yeah. So
you and the rest of the moms and dads are out there on the stoop just smoking heaters all day. Like, oh man, thank God for this place.
But like I've had nights where I plan it, no matter how much you plan it out, it's always chaos for some reason, at least for me. So
no, same here. Again, I have a 7 and a 4-year-old, so obviously a little older, but and how is he with like you said, he'll squirm or whatever. Is he pretty cool getting dressed, or is he like he's just always in the, because AJ is always on the move?
Dude, nobody told me this, that they wiggle so much. I had no idea that putting diapers on was going to be hard. The way he bends, it's physically impossible. Like he wins. I have to give up. I'm a United States Marine. I'm like, I can't, he wins. I'm fucked. He's too bendy, man. I just cannot. So then I have to wait until he like gets distracted or plays, or I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm like a one-man improv show. I'm like, razzle dazzle, la, 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 trying to get him to chill.
I bet he knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah. And he's got you wrapped and he's like, look at this fucking sheep. She'll do anything I want her to.
Dance for me, clown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I do. I put on a whole 30-minute show for him every morning.
Exhausted. Like sometimes looking at your Instagram stories, like you being like, I think some people feel it's an exaggeration when you're posting on your Instagram story things like, I pulled my son around for 3.5 hours in a Budweiser box. And I'm like, people think that she's joking. She did this for 3.5 hours.
My hand had a callus on it, chaps. Like my hand physically hurt from pulling a Budweiser box with a belt. So
that's the thing. I saw that picture. Yeah. It was a picture, and I was like, "There's no doubt in my mind this is real." Where most people are like, "All right, we're exaggerating. We're just doing the picture." 100%.
My parents. This was down at my parents' 55 and up a couple of days ago because last week he was out of daycare all week. Pat was traveling, and I had nobody to. How can I get work done? So I went down to my parents, and they don't have as many toys. They're like very much declutter. They're in a smaller apartment, and so they're like, "We're gonna make do with what we have." And my mom, she only drinks Bud Heavies. So we have a ton of Budweiser boxes. And so she just attached a belt to a Budweiser box, dragged him around in it, and he couldn't get enough. Every time you took him out, he'd go back over and put. So they took him around the entire building. They're walking him by bingo downstairs. All the old ladies are coming out. Oh,
I bet he loves it down there too.
Oh, forget it. He's the belle of the ball down there. So yeah. And I'm telling you, for hours, for days, morning, night, the Budweiser box, that was. Yeah,
that was our we had a Costco bag. It was one of the like freezer bags, and my dad would just put Sienna in it and just carry her around. The minute you took her out, fucking fireworks, fire alarm going off, screaming at it. So it sounds like you get the same thing going on there. And like you said, and we didn't have him on after he had his battle against the internet. But when KFC said, fuck all the people coming to the daycare, all dressed up, already, looking good. And listen, I know if you have to go to work, I understand that. But anyone who's dressing to look good to then go home and work from home, like 90% of us were the last 2 years, go fuck yourselves. A hearty go fuck yourselves.
As I want to create a Podfather's line of sweatsuits that just say daycare drop off on them, but they're already pre-covered in stains so that you can't tell what's real and what's not. So yeah, we'll come out with the daycare drop off line.
We should just have adults like with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like just what day of the week it is. That's what I'm wearing. It's easy. It's decided.
Yes. Simple.
And that's the other thing. My wife got AJ new socks and it has the days of the week on them, and they are never even close to being the right days. It's like it's almost absurd. It's like I almost do it on purpose.
Imagine finding a Wednesday on a Wednesday morning. No shot.
I couldn't imagine it. No.
And this is our first year doing daycare. Now, is your daycare it's open basically nonstop, or does it close during certain does it go by the school schedule? Because there's usually it's one or the other.
I'm 2 or 3 times now I have shown up to the daycare and been like, where the fuck is everybody? And everyone's like, why don't you check the messages? Well, I don't. Okay. So fuck off. Apparently they send emails out alerting us and I never know. I show up, all the kids are wearing wacky socks. They're like, it's wacky sock day. I'm like, oh, but
here,
anyway.
take mine, Cash.
Yeah. Here, wear my wacky. I got my Wednesdays on. It's a Thursday.
Yeah, I got my Wednesdays.
But yeah, they have like they're almost open all the time. They don't follow the basic school schedule, but then they'll have just a random in-service week or a random this or that. And then on top of that, I think every single month since we started, he's been out for at least a week, which we're very lucky. Like I don't think there would ever be like, I can't imagine Dave or anybody being like, oh, blah, 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 because we're very lucky with where we work. But like, I always wonder, how do other parents, because their kids are getting sick, their kids are out for weeks at a time, but they don't have jobs where they can work from home like this. Like, what the fuck do people do?
Dude, imagine being in the military and doing that.
I can't even imagine, like, what do people do when their kid can't go to daycare? Like, we came back from Kans's wedding, and because of COVID rules, this was last month, they wouldn't let him back for the entire week afterwards, even though he was perfectly healthy. And I didn't anticipate that. I didn't know that until like a few days out. So I was like, oh, fuck. And now I've just missed another week. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm missing week after week at Barstool. And you try to work from home with a baby, but
dog, that shit's impossible, man.
Fucking
like
impossible.
Even when I was going to school, like when McCartney was first born, I was trying to go back to school, and I'm sitting here reading about 1860s West Texas, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this. First of all, that shit was a long time ago. Doesn't affect me at all. And then McCartney is like chewing on my fucking leg trying to get a bottle, and Elise is at work, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how anybody does it. It's crazy.
I failed that course.
I basically, I
largest here.
Whoa!
Whoa! Bahama Daddy.
Whoa!
What's
look at
up,
that tan.
people?
He's glowing.
Greeting from the islands, man.
He's an island boy. An island boy.
Dan everywhere, Jan everywhere. Large man. I said we had Kate on the podcast this week since you guys can't stand each other. So I hope this isn't awkward for you as it is for her.
Total jerk.
There's nobody I love more than Kate. I'm on my way to a water park to drink excessively while my kids risk their lives. So we'll see you guys later on.
Yeah.
All right. See
I'm
you,
happy you've recovered from Chaps' steak. Have a good one, buddy. Enjoy the vacation.
More like a mistake. All right, I'll talk to you guys later on.
He baked your potato, chap.
See you guys.
See you later. Yeah.
What a delight.
What a delight. What a cocksucker. You know, he just had to do it to us too. He didn't he just wanted to see the death in our eyes. Yeah. So that's what spring break is for Large right now. My spring break, our old daycare was on its own schedule. So they would basically be open nonstop other than like the big holidays. Now we've mirrored the local school schedule because a lot of teachers do it there. And AJ's off this week, which is basically what it comes down to. I have 2 goddamn kids home. If my problem child was in school, everything would be fine. So spring break means a little different than it. What did spring break used like? Spring break growing up, when you're young, it was like just fun, crazy chaos. You get a little older, you watch a little MTV, you see all the shit going on down in like Panama Beach.
First time I saw a thong, MTV spring break in Panama City.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then
like
what was
this
that
thing? I don't know what those cheeks are doing, but the way they wiggle, I like that.
Oh man. You know what the best spring break video ever is? You'll have to look it up. YouTube, Limp Bizkit performing. And right as he's about to be like, and break our butt, he points at a ship out in the ocean and the ship just explodes.
Yeah.
And the crowd's like, ah! Yeah. Oh,
that was about 45 minutes from where I live, Kate. Absolutely electric scene.
Yeah. I was like in 10th grade and I was like, that's what I want my life to be. That's where I'm going to be someday.
And I lived in Pensacola and I was like, Panama City's fucking lit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say when the girl on the Jerry Springer show, she covered herself in honey and then covered herself in feathers. Does anyone remember that? That was a coming of age moment for me back in the day.
Was that spring break related or that just popped into your brain?
No, they would do Jerry Springer last spring break.
Oh, that's right.
And
yeah,
they would have
I forgot the
going,
Jerry Springer
"Great."
spring break. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the couple, and it ended up being staged, which broke my heart finding out. I was like finding out Santa Claus, and they get into a fight, and then it's like, well, we actually like hooked up last night, and then they get into the fight. All-time spring break moment. I'm sure the younger people have no clue what we're talking about.
That's probably Daytona Beach, right?
Yeah, I think it was
Daytona is like perfect Jerry Springer world, just perfect.
Oh yeah.
Kate, I want to ask you a dad-related question.
Oh, okay.
How's your lawn care game?
I have to tell you, I live in a small apartment. I don't have one, but I sure wish I did.
If you did, do you know what product you would use?
I absolutely would use the best lawn care product available, which is
Sunday. Get Sunday. It's springtime right now. We're talking spring break. Spring is springing. I always get that fucking wrong.
Spranging.
There's green coming in my yard. That's all I know. A little bit of green is coming in my yard, but not enough. Not nearly enough.
Shots fired at White Sox Dave.
I need to get a little more green in my yard, make my yard look a little nicer. And that's why I got to get Sunday. They have, and it's not like I'm throwing a bunch of chemicals and weird shit on there. They have stuff like seaweed, iron, molasses. Those are the ingredients in there that you feel good about your kids and pets being around. I mean, the kids, whatever. You want to make sure your pets are good though as well. So all you have to do is visit getsunday.com, put in your address, and their lawn analysis tool will do the rest. It kind of shows you a little Google Maps satellite image of your yard. They tell you your soil and climate data to let you know what you're gonna have to do. It makes you feel smart for a little bit and deliver it right to your door. So Kate would do that. She'd just see a big apartment building and be like, you have 3 inches of grass here to treat. But they would treat it for you. They tell you all the little fucking soil stuff, all the different chemistry, make you feel like a brainiac. And all you have to do it is you put the pouch on your garden hose. Do you have a garden hose at the apartment complex, Kate?
We do. Yes.
There we go. So we're money. You put it on and you spray it. Takes less than 15 minutes. I listen to my favorite podcasts. I listen to my Zero Black 30 podcast. That's our favorite podcast. That's Kate and Connor do that show. We love that. We respect the troops. And as I've said before, stuff really works. There was a part of the yard that I didn't do because I was a lazy asshole. And my wife said, why does that part of the yard not look nice? It looked like the elephant graveyard from Lion King. And it was because it didn't get Sunday. So Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Full season plan start at just $129 and you get 20% off checkout. We visit getsunday.com/podfather, singular podfather. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/podfather.
I'm also upset about the elephant graveyard. We got to have some UN security to go in there and figure out what happened. It's just too many mass graves for these elephants. Just way too many. Why did so many die? There must have been 5,000 elephants out there.
And how did they lure them there? Did they lure the elephants out there and they
that never disintegrates? Like, was all those deaths soon? Like, that was 6 months ago? What happened?
They're mighty creatures. Yeah, they're mighty creatures. They don't go down. They don't go down easily.
It's a lot of circus peanuts there, and they heard the word. They all came trampling through.
So, Kate, what is the current rotation? Obviously, we have the YouTube video, Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel is, I'm telling you, if you don't know, fucking get on board. Miss Rachel is the best.
Nick is just chiming in. Anytime Miss Rachel comes up, he starts getting in the chat. He's getting fired up. So
she taught Gia almost like Gia's first words were from Miss Rachel. I can't take credit.
Yeah, my son is talking and doing all sorts of shit that he sees her. It's amazing. It's crazy.
Hey, so, Miss Rachel. Hello. And she does that's
nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is doing that. The hello that way, except Miss Rachel. And so she will. But yes, no, Miss Rachel's a big one. Sesame Street, they have this one particular YouTube video of. So what I do is I go to the YouTube search, I type in baby videos, and then I look which has the most views. I'm like, okay, this one has 89 million. Parents must know this is the good one. So that's the Sesame Street video we watch. It's the Baby Shark edition of songs. It's 89 million. Has the Usher alphabet on it. Baby Shark.
ABC's of loving you. Oh, that's big.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then all the Miss Rachels with the highest views I go through. He was doing that one with the dancing fruits for a while, but he's too advanced for it now. But yeah.
Clem, off the top of your head, favorite Elmo videos?
There's one. Does he do the one brushy brush, where he talks about brushing the teeth and stuff like that? Yeah, that's up there. The Bruno Mars does a sing along as well. That was one of my go-to Sesame Street songs. This is taking me back right now. This is and again, it got to the point where I don't know if Kate, you do this as well. I just look for the one that's 30 minutes long, so I don't have to keep looking for new ones.
Yep.
So like, right, we're set. I'll plop you down, and I will go on the computer here for 30 minutes and be an adult.
While we're talking about it, I don't know if this changes as they get older, but at this age, when he's in the zone, happy and enjoying something, the smallest thing, it's like he's under a spell, and the smallest thing can break the spell. So say he's actually eating his food in his high chair, and I go to remove a little hair from his hand, spell's broken. He's done eating now, and everything's fucked because I went to. So I know, like, you don't fuck with anything. So when he's sitting there happy watching,
he's treating you like a sheep. He's got you wrapped.
Oh no, is this not how everyone?
Oh yeah, no, he is absolutely bamboozling you.
So wait, this all circles back to YouTube videos. When he's sitting there and I'm trying to get stuff done, I know I have about 30 minutes max of him watching something as I'm rushing around. So I know, don't go in there, don't mess around with stuff. Like, he's in the zone. These fucking YouTube ads, specifically Dave Pangione, a North Jersey contractor who's going to expand your house for you and extend it and put an addition on the back. This fucking guy, his commercials are every minute on these baby shows, and they're 2-3 minutes long. It goes from a happy Elmo singing to this North Jersey guy. No offense to Nick, I believe Pangione is Italian. And he's really fucking
short
up
guy
my day.
too.
Short guy.
You don't know
wrestling.
he's short. You don't know this guy.
No,
short.
you got to see the video.
He's
very-
a little fella, yeah.
The
Yeah,
crown
little
molding
man.
is way above him.
Oh yeah. Well,
You can even tell he wears those little wedges in his shoes.
He does. But this guy, it's always him. There'll be 6 ads in a video. All 6 are, hey, it's Dave Pangione here from a nice rancher up in whatever, blah, blah, blah. This family of 3, I really helped them out. Here's how. And he gives you and my son, the spell is broken, and the baby's like, now what? Now what? And I'm like, motherfucking Dave.
Have you thought about
Pangione.
getting the elevated YouTube where you don't have ads?
No, I never will.
I knew
That's
it.
like how I
knew that was gonna
complain.
be your answer.
That's
I'll
like
just complain about it. $7.99 and it will be gone. But you're like, fuck that. No, I'm not doing that out of principle. And I completely agree.
Yeah, I did a video about it where I'm like, there's Dave Pangione in the background fucking ruining. And somebody on Twitter pointed out, it says skip ad right there at the bottom. You can skip this. And I was like, fuck you. You don't know. The spell's already been broken. You don't understand. It's too late. It doesn't matter if I skip the ad.
It's the spells.
It was always the spells.
It was always the spells.
It was always the spells. But anyway, so I'm beefing with this North Jersey contractor about, I hate him so much.
The accent came out too. You nailed the accent. Had a little bit of the Delco in there.
Hey, I'm
as
Dave
well.
Pangione, piece of shit, ruining your kid's Miss Rachel video.
And listen, it doesn't change, Kate, because I had to take AJ to fucking Chuck E. Cheese. He has never heard of Chuck E. Cheese his entire life. What did they keep running on the ads on the YouTube? Nonstop Chuck E. Cheese ad. Dad, I got to go to Chuck E. Cheese. Doesn't know what the fuck Charles Entertainment Cheese is about. And we had to go across the river, an hour away, spend $80.
Never played skee ball a day in his life.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. And the animatronics weren't even there. It was just Chucky was the only animatronic left. I was hoping I could scar him for life so we never want to come back. You don't have
a banjo bear. Get it out of my face.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
It's a goddamn joke. I was going to ask, any movies? Is there any movies going on? Because I saw Big Cat recently got into, he's a Moana house now, and I was so happy for him. Like, I get really happy when people get into the classics, and that's like the new classic.
Moana he was a Cars guy for a long time too.
Yeah. Basically his kid's whole life.
I started watching, I don't really watch movies with the baby yet, but we did on a slow Sunday morning. I put on Encanto because I'd been listening to it in the car with him. So I was like, oh, maybe he'll recognize the songs. I put that on. I got so into it that I got annoyed when he was ready to do something else. I was like, oh man, I gotta hang out with the Encanto's on. So that sounds really bad, but true.
It's
but yeah,
Encanto, Mom. Let's go back over to the dryer.
Yeah, he wants to eat. There's a lot of lint to eat over there, man. But yeah, so how about you, Clem? You guys got a specific?
I think actually Encanto plays here as well. Encanto has become big. We were going to watch Turning Red the other night. We were going to have a nice little movie night, but apparently Turning Red involves a certain part of the female that turns red. And we thought that was going to be a little too much to explain to AJ. Is that true,
The
Chapsy?
flaps?
No, it's very light. I don't understand why people are making a big deal about it. They mentioned that a woman or a girl has her period and like what a pad is, and then they move on from it. And people are acting like they're doing free bleeding in a pool. Like that's just not what's going on.
I thought it was the plot of the movie the way it was being explained to me. I'm like, well, this is a doozy of
like
a
20 seconds long. It's nothing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What's the premise of Turning Red? Because now I think the whole thing Turning Red's about a period.
Yeah.
It's actually a cartoon about this panda that they do the red wedding from Game of Thrones. It's real fucked up.
Okay.
Watch that with the kids. AJ would love that shit.
Yeah.
It's just Game of Thrones with pandas.
And Kate, another thing you could do if you want to get outside now that it's getting nice out, it's getting warm, instead of just being cooped up in the house watching movies, you get yourself a nice little solo stove. I have one. Large has one. I don't think Chaps has one. Again, apartment building, this might be kind of tight in the apartment building now that I mention it. However, comes in a nice little case so you can take it down to the beach. Do you guys do the beach in the summer?
Jersey Shore? Beach, we do all that stuff, so I could use one for sure.
Yeah, so there you go. You get yourself a solo stove. It is easy to light. It has barely any smoke at all, and it burns the wood to ash. Easy to clean. It's a perfect way to upgrade your backyard, and it's perfectly portable. As I said, take it on camping trips, beach trips. Kate, you strike me as a big camping kid growing up. My wife was a big camping kid growing up.
I actually never went camping till I joined the military, really. But because my aunt and uncle had a house up in the Poconos, and so we just stay in the house.
And that's exactly what they say. It's time to go camping, everybody. Let's go camping.
Yeah, let's go camping. We go camping in the woods in the Marines. But I had to think of it as camping to get through it mentally. But no, I didn't go camping much. But now I got one of those crazy hiking backpacks for the day, all this stuff. So like I'm trying to get more into it now.
There you go. All right. Yeah. So then we'll get you a solo stove. We'll make sure we won't get Chapsy when Chapsy can get himself.
If Kate gets a solo stove before me, I'm quitting the podcast again.
You heard that, solo stove. I need one stat.
Yeah, exactly.
Take over.
Get this louse out of our heads and get it out of our face so we could have Kate take his seat. But if you want to get yourself a solo stove, you can shop now and get 30% off fire pits all month long and use promo code PODFATHERS at checkout to get an extra $20 off, plus a lifetime warranty and free 30-day returns. Just go to solostove.com and remember you get $20 off and use promo code PODFATHERS. I always say this is the time to get them 30% off all the fire pits and then the extra $20 off with the promo code PODFATHERS. If you like it, you keep it. If not, 30-day return, lifetime warranty, and it's Podfather proof. Idiots like me, and this might surprise you, Kate. Guys like me and Large, we're not all that handy. We're not good at just like making a fire. We don't have the kindling on the bottom, and we don't, I don't think we would have made it through. Is basic training the first? Is that the beginning of the military? Is that like basic training? Is that
boot camp? Yeah,
boot camp. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, boot camp.
We wouldn't even make it to boot camp, so something like this for solo stove helps us get there. All right. So check it out now. If you want to get yourself a solo stove, we'll work on getting Kate's sooner rather than later. A couple of stories for you. I thought this first one actually is kind of perfect the way we had just mentioned it. A school in New Jersey, high school in New Jersey, looking to add an extra half hour or more of sleep to their kids' mornings in the high school. A bill is calling for later start times for the school day to boost mental health and wellness among teenagers. And its sponsors, it's just a couple of assemblymen here. The bill calls for a start day of 8:30 a.m. or later at high school. Kate, do you remember, were you in early high school? I don't know. Were you down in Pennsylvania, PA?
Down in Pennsylvania, the Philly suburbs. And yes, it was so early. And I was the very first person to be picked up on my bus route every day.
Oh, that was the worst.
And I was kind of in the boonies of my town. And so I think it was like a 45-minute bus ride. At least it was probably an hour going around. I was always the first one on. And the sun wasn't even up yet. I'm standing in the dark down at the bus stop waiting. And when I was in high school, it really did. It made life so fucking miserable because I'd get on the bus to school when it was still dark out in the winter.
And cold as shit.
And then I played basketball. So by the time I left school, it would be dark out. So I didn't see sunlight for 4 months out of the year. It fucking sucked so hard. And also I feel like most teens get in trouble in the afternoons and the evenings. They're getting off school. I got off school every day at like 2:15, 2:30 or some shit like that. And then had time to go do whatever. Like, why don't we let them sleep in, have them go later and keep them occupied longer? Like
jobs.
What?
The jobs are the reason why that they didn't do it for so long, is there's so many families that relied on the secondary income from their teenagers that were coming in. So they would start either that farming communities as well, that they would be able to help with the evening chores whenever they got home, like the last of the stuff. But looking at like having a 17-year-old now, that shit would be beyond beneficial. Like if Kelsey was able to go to school at 9 o'clock instead of having to wake up at 6:30, any parent that's had to wake up a high school kid, you look at them and you like, you could use a little bit more sleep. You're going to be tired because the kids now, they're not going to bed at fucking 8:15. Like they're just not, like, that's not happening. They're staying up late. They're watching TikTok or Twitter or whatever the fuck they're doing, YouTube. They're not going to bed. And so then they're tired all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I had trouble staying up or going to bed on time. And that was just sports and like Howard Stern on E back in the day. If I had my fucking like pocket computer right next to my bed all night, fuck yeah, like 1 a.m. at the earliest. And Kate, you make a great point. Like, and think about it, like other than like idiots like us that work from home, you have all these parents who probably aren't home. The kids are just going home, nobody to watch them. You kind of alleviate that an hour or so if you bump it back a little. You get them better in the morning. I guess the study says they're more likely to suffer depression and anxiety if they don't get enough sleep. The other thing it says this would not impact middle school or elementary schools. I'd say move everything back just a little bit. Like if you can, I guess the elementary school, you could then be blending into the workday. But for people like Kate, it sounds like you were like Adam Banks on the Mighty Ducks. You were like just inside the like district and you had to bust you all the way in because you were like awesome at basketball or something like that.
I was way out there. Yeah, I was, I sat the bench, but I was awesome at basketball.
Yeah,
they needed me and that was important. Yeah,
I bet you were a fantastic bench player though, gassing everybody else out.
I really was. I
bet
really
you were,
was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little Cardi defense up in everyone's face doing the old.
Cardi. I was a hoot on the bus and I was fun at practices, so it's good times.
So I think that's a no-brainer. I never understood, even when I was a kid. I remember I think it was like 6:50 a.m. we'd be out there and like, why the fuck am I out here right now? And we were middle school and high school. Were you guys middle school and high school together, or was there three separate buses?
Three separate.
Yeah,
Kate?
three separate.
Oh yeah,
totally separate.
Yeah, it sucked. Oh man, I do not envy high schoolers at all. Next one, this one is for the people looking to make some kids here. Zapping the penis could combat premature ejaculation, Chapsy. This is a big day for guys like us. One man underwent therapy. He was lasting around 40 seconds a day, or a session, I should say. But 6 months after completing his treatment, he was able to pleasure his girlfriend for almost 5 minutes before climaxing. Big day for the cum guys here, I feel.
Not bad. I mean, I feel like an increase from 40 seconds to 5 minutes is an absolute game changer. I saw the note 30 minutes and I was like, they went too far with it. Nobody wants it. 30-minute session. Come on. What are we doing here? We're not.
I got to tell you, these days, 40 sounds great. 40 seconds. Let's just.
So you have to get shocked. You have to get shocked in your penis for 30 seconds at a time. 3 times a week.
That's too long.
Like a little cattle prod, a tiny little cattle prod.
A tiny little cattle. It's something that kind of like they latch it on to there. You know what I mean? It's called the endorsal fin or something. I don't know what the fuck.
It's actually the office has a small Jurassic Park fence that you have to go up to with your penis, and you have to stick it on there for.
Clem, that scene still gives me the wrong, dude. He underwent the treatment, which involved getting electrodes stuck in his penis for 30 minutes at a time.
I said 30 minutes, didn't I?
No, I think you said 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. 30
minutes.
30 minutes at a time. 3 times a week he had to do this. 3 times.
For how long?
For months. 6 months.
I mean, this woman must have a gorilla grip coochie. Like that's the only way this makes it worth it.
Yeah, they should be loosening her instead of zapping him, I feel like. My goodness.
Wow. Put that down for Kate. She is advocating for women to have their vaginas enlarged to please their husbands. Wow.
Well, Cam Newton was going to be the most problematic guy of the week.
So much for a husband.
I'd take that back because I would hate for that to happen to me.
You gotta protect that house with Simply Safe.
Yeah. The Get Roman ad writes itself here right now, but we unfortunately don't have one with us in the docket here. Speaking of doing the deed, Britney Spears, pregnant, back in the pod fam.
I love her so much.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
we're Team Britney here, right? Team Britney on
Huge.
the pod?
I always have been. I love Britney Spears. I'm so happy for her.
I feel like she still needs to get her chickens and her mentals in the right place. She doesn't come across as having her chickens and her mentals in the right place. And she's mentioned that she had some postpartum and like pre having the baby depression last time. I'm very concerned about Britney Spears. Very concerned.
Well, I think the last time she has two sons who are, I think, 15 and 16 now.
Yep.
With Kevin Federline, of course, K-Fed, and he has 70% custody. She has 30. At least that's the last time I creepily checked. Who knows that? What? Why?
The court documents told you, right?
But she talked about when she was she never got to be the mom she wanted to be. She never. I mean, look at how crazy her life was when that happened. And they were kind of in a way like that was robbed of her. So I feel like I understand her having depression and issues with the way everything went. It wasn't the motherhood that she wanted and envisioned. So I'm excited that she gets this second chance surrounded by what seems a much more supportive environment. And I agree, chaps, like her posts are nuts. Like they're all over the place.
There's too many emojis to be taken seriously.
But I feel like this is somebody discovering how to be on their own kind of for the first, like, I feel like, yeah, it's going to get a little weird, but I do think that she's surrounded by good people now that are going to have her best interest. And I think her husband, by the way, she got married too. So she just kind of casually dropped that. I think it happened within the last few weeks. But they've been together since like 2015. They met on a music video shoot. He's a personal trainer. He seems like a good guy. And I think it's I'm excited. I'm rambling. I'm just jazzed for the gal. I am. She's a hoot.
I had no idea you're such a Britney head.
I'm a huge, oh man, I fucking love. I mean, that was the era that we came up in. And she was like my idol. I mean, coming home and putting on TRL and just hoping for her videos. I had
if
karaoke.
You missed the little Catholic schoolgirl outfit whenever she was out there dancing, you were like, what? Well, now what's my penis going to do?
Yeah. The Anaconda at the music awards. Like, I just feel like, and then she just got I just have always been a fan of hers, clearly.
I was Team Britney. It was always like, so chaps, are you like Christina Aguilera guy? What are we talking
might come out across as a
You're
shock.
one or the other.
I was more of a Jessica Simpson fella.
Oh, Christian.
Yeah, Christian.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
And
Those were sensible.
when she's like, I wanna love you forever, and her hair is blowing all over the place in that one video, and then she got Nick Lachey, and Nick Lachey, you could argue easily that at that time, Nick Lachey was the most attractive of all the boy band people. Like, I would say he's more attractive than Justin Timberlake, and I would say that he was more attractive than the lead Backstreet Boy. He was, of all the leaders of those like 5 or 6 different boy bands, like O-Town, 98 Degrees, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Nick Lachey, probably the hottest. And you could say that Jessica Simpson was the hottest too.
She was the hottest. Yes. So, well, to land Jessica Simpson, you had to be a Nick Lachey.
Right.
And Nick Lachey could hang out with the boys too. He also had that side of him.
You know yes.
With
he was in a boy band, but you like
shooting hoops with the fellas. Fuck yeah. Throwing on boxing in the boxing ring. Is a guy's guy.
Yeah, he was a guy's guy. He was just a guy being a dude. Yes.
Like, what do you do if you're watching, NFL Sunday and all of a sudden Justin Timberlake shows up and he's in his full denim outfit with like his little fro where he has the corners in? You're just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, he's here for attention. Nick's here because he likes the Bengals.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
So I was a little worried about Britney at first when I saw this, just because, again, Chap said, I think I counted 23 emojis. That's a lot. And I feel like we all thought once the, what was the conservatorship? Once that got overturned, it felt like it was like, oh, she's going to have get pregnant and have a baby right away. Now that it's, clear landing. But I think Kate has kind of changed it's like,
yeah,
she never, like that was a different Britney. Was that shaved head Britney era 16 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That was when she was at the height of getting hounded. You should read some of the stories she talks about being a new mom. And those kids, they're Irish twins. They were born back to back. She had 2 kids at the height of her fame, and then was kind of kept from them in a lot of ways. It's just horrible. I think about the anxiety I feel like going a day without my guy when he's at daycare, and like the stuff she went through. And also when it's in the court records from the conservatorship that they pretty much forced her. They would not let her remove her IUD, even though she was begging them. She wanted to have a baby. She wanted to not have the IUD, and she was basically forced to keep that, which is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm
almost like a certain element of what happened in those conservatorships with her, particularly. It's almost like reverse sex trafficking, where they denied her own bodily rights, like where she wasn't able to have autonomy over her own rights, where they controlled every aspect of her, including sexually, of what she could do, which is nuts.
Which I think is why everyone's like, oh, she's crazy now. But I think that's part of why she's posting nudes on the beach now. It's like, fuck you. I can do whatever I want now. And I think this is a huge explosion of that, which I think it's reasonable.
OnlyFans?
Oh, buddy.
If Britney Spears launched an OnlyFans, she would pass Elon Musk in wealth.
I feel like I would get it just to see more Britney Spears.
Oh yeah, I think you do it just to support.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you don't even have
it's
to
like
look.
how you read
It's like,
the nudie mags for the articles. I'm just
like, oh, what was that $79.99 payment from PayPal?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because Britney was naked. Like,
you know who I really want to know? So quick caveat on conservatorships. Who's the workout guy who disappeared? He's still alive. He wore the jumpsuit.
Thank you for doing the workout motion.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons. What's been up with that? There was a whole podcast trying to figure it out.
Kate.
His housekeeper, he hasn't been seen in years. They say his housekeeper or whatever. I think he's under a conservatorship and like.
Oh, he made an appearance since all that stuff happened. He did make an appearance.
But he's like pretty much, people think he's like being held hostage at his home by his housekeeper for the last decade, which is nuts.
But where do you go if you're a person like Richard Simmons and you make your wealth like Richard Simmons does? 20 years later, when you're not jazzercising and selling your own low-calorie popcorn, like you can't just show up at Target and not wear spandex leotards. Like you got to keep that energy. And then whenever you don't have that energy, it's got to be crushing. When you're walking through the streets, you could argue, I would say late 80s, there was nobody more famous in America than Richard Simmons. He was
very fit. You're right. And it has to be tough to be a bit of a schlub. But I'd be like, fuck you guys. I'm Richard Simmons and I'm yeah, that's all I'd say.
I'm Richard Simmons.
I like
it. I haven't thought it out.
The strongest Richard Simmons take that we've ever had on Podfathers. I like that.
Do you know where Richard Simmons is from? Where he was born and where he grew up?
No.
New Orleans, Louisiana. Can you imagine?
He does not give me a New Orleans vibe.
No,
not at all. However, listen to this.
Besides dressing like a parade float.
I did not believe the Cajuns I lived with in high school never mentioned that.
That's true. What was the names again? The Cajuns?
Oh, they were the Fusiliers was their last name. Oh, you're thinking Louis and Norby, the twins.
I'm thinking Norby. Yeah, I'm thinking of Louis and Norby, the twins. Chaps' origin story is always one of my favorite things. Can you imagine? Like, it doesn't seem like he's a New Orleans guy, Louisiana guy. However, a little bit of shared energy with Mincy, right? Like a different energy for like a different, like it comes out differently.
A tirelessly positive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
fellas, we're gonna be doing some jazzercise.
Sup, fellas? So yeah, if we could get.
I was walking down the street and they saw Richard Simmons and they were like, Richard, and I was like, hey.
Can you imagine a world where Mincy is the one who brings Richard Simmons out of the shadows and kind of gives his story, and then Glennie's interviewing Britney for her OnlyFans as well?
Yes.
Like,
oh man,
this is
Caleb and Glennie doing a Sunday conversation with Richard Simmons would be all
be a treat.
time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or with Britney, honestly.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, we'll take either or. So
the whole squad with their tops off.
Yeah, everybody's movies out. I love it.
Well, I'm gonna try to transition into a Simply Safe ad, but that's gonna be kind of hard off of Richard Simmons. I was gonna do something off of Britney, like you have Britney when she had like the craze looking around the umbrella. You don't want someone like that breaking into your house. You got to get yourself some Simply Safe.
Oh, we're not gonna crazy shame Britney. Let's start over, Clem.
You know,
that was rough.
Hit the reset.
Whatever the case with Richard Simmons, he does seem to be safe in his home.
Exactly right.
Must have Simply Safe.
And the conservatorship was designed to keep Britney safe, but in reality, all she needed to do was go to our friends at Simply Safe with them.
Because it is backed by the best 24/7 professional monitoring in the business. We're ready to dispatch police, firefighters, or EMTs to your home. All three. That's the big three right there. Comprehensive set of sensors and cameras. Chaps, you have the all-new wireless outdoor security camera, don't you?
Buddy, I'm not a fuck idiot, so of course I do.
It's less than $1 a day. You can set it up in around 30 minutes, and it's always simple to use. Large said it took him 60 minutes, but that's Large. By the way, I just got to say this. It's so delightful talking about things like Britney Spears and TRL. When Large is around, we'll have like a conversation, be like, oh, what was the best blah blah blah. He'll be like, the Addams Family TV show from like the 50s.
Oh, I ate a liver from a goose and it was divine.
Yeah. The worst, the absolute worst. But the one thing we could all agree on is we want to keep our family safe. So that's why get yourself some Simply Safe. There's never a long-term contract. You try it free for 60 days, risk-free. See if you like it. If you don't, send it back. They'll then send it to Chaps and it'll make his house even more secure. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes.
House you've ever fucking seen in your life.
That's goddamn right. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/podfathers. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Go to simplysafe.com/podfathers. And I got to spell it out because they spell it different. simplysafe.com/podfathers, where I put in the S at the end.
Let me tell you something. These have a element where you can speak through them too. So like when all the kids are out and they're in the backyard or whatever, and like I'm talking high school kids with my older kid, when all of her friends are out there at the pool, occasionally I'll go on the intercom system on the camera and be like, hey, Kels, can you get this? Just so they know that I have camera systems up there. Like I'm watching, I got a camera in the pool house where I'm watching in the fridge to see if you fuckers try to get a beer. If you're trying to do some shady shit in the hot tub, not on my watch, my friend. You get to do that somewhere else. We used to be a Christian house. We're not doing that.
There used to be rules here. That has not happened. I like that, Chapsy. We'll get into some mailbags here. You could send it at podfathers@barstoolsports.com. That's a new email address, or Podfather Show on Instagram or Twitter at that son of a bitch, Joey Langone. Kate, do you like Joey? You don't really like Joey, right?
Oh, the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, remember that time that Joey used to text you, Kate, and you didn't know who it was?
I didn't know who it was. And I would always respond really nicely and give all the answers needed. But I was always like, who the fuck was this? And then turns out it was Joey. And that was very embarrassing. Yeah. I have to, he's okay.
I knew Kate wasn't going to be able to keep going with it. It's not Brandon Walker. It's like the only person she can consistently hate is Brandon Walker.
Oh, huge piece of shit. Huge.
Oh, by the way, we have to plug your guys, your show with KB and Nick. Yo, can I get this on Barstool?
Oh, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's called Yo, Can I Get This on Barstool? And because that is one of the biggest messages that the Barstool main Instagram account gets. And it'll be some random video at 2:30 in the morning sent to Barstool. Yo, can I get this on Barstool? Because they think it's so hilarious. And then it'll just be a 6-second video of a flip flop with a Truly can stuck in it or something. So yeah, it's Babadook vibes. But yeah, it's very fun. We're kind of roasting the videos and just having fun with them. But yo, can I get this on Barstool? Episode 3 is coming out soon.
Check it out on YouTube, right? I think YouTube and
yeah,
Anus,
on the blog. The Anus YouTube.
The Anus Boys, as
Check
I like to call them.
Check out the Anus Boys to find that.
The only reason I hate that show is because you guys are so goddamn quick with everything. And I'm like, I would have never thought of anything like that. You guys are such schmucks.
I basically sit there and I just laugh at what KB and Nick say. And I try and look enough animated that I'll get myself on the show from time to time. But they're so fucking funny. Yes. And make it easy.
Check it out there. And you know what? And put some questions in those comments too. And we'll read them on the show as well. So we'll get into the mailbag here. First one, Mike. Hey guys, just found out about to be a dad. I've heard the goods and the bads of being a dad. And in this case, a mom with Kate. Can you give me one random thing you love about being a parent? You wouldn't have Podfathers without a typo. One random thing you love about being a parent that wouldn't, just like, oh, they're my life and I just the joy in a young child's eyes. Is there anything that strikes you right away?
I had one yesterday.
Oh, let's hear it.
Almost kind of like a makeshift diaper bag, or what do we used to call it? Bedtime stories. Yeah, so almost like a makeshift one of those. So Kelsey and I also share TikToks back and forth, and like she'll send me TikToks that I think are funny and vice versa. Well, yesterday she sent me one and she is like, this is the most you video I've ever seen. And it was a video of older teenage girl, probably either older teenage, young 20s.
That's so you.
Sent her dad a text message, and the text message said, I love you, Spoon. And he said, Spoon ? And she said, because you like to eat so much stuff. Every time I see a spoon, it makes you think of you. And he said, ? Okay, I love you. And then she said, I love you too. And he said, I love you too. Who? And she said, I love you too, Spoon. He's like, that's the good stuff. And like, so he like leaned in to be his nickname being Spoon, and Kelsey being like, this is you. Like any time I'm sweet to you, you just absolutely love it. Like that's us.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Kate, you have anything jumping out?
I think for me, I've kind of you get to like see the world through their eyes a little bit, and it makes you appreciate these small things that like as an adult working wherever you kind of forget. Like now I spend Saturday morning, like I would have been hungover, whatever. Now we're down at I fucking love birds, Clem. I know you do too, man.
Listen to this idea. Listen to this idea I came up with. I want to get a shirt. It says Barstool Bird Watching Club on like a little pocket, and then the back is like trig cartoons of anyone who is on the record as being a Barstool bird watcher. Me, you, Robbie, Large, and we're just maybe even make it look like Barstool looks like the Hooters logo.
The fact that was the main gift I got Annalise was a bunch of birdhouses so we can enjoy it on our porch.
Well, do you like it as well, or do you like that she likes it, Chapsy?
I have a million pictures of this beautiful red cardinal on my phone right now, Clem.
If you send it to me within 10 seconds, I will allow you in the Barstool Bird Watching Club. Okay. I'm sorry, Kate. I cut you off though.
But like shit that I used to, like when I was little that I thought was cool, I'm kind of rediscovering again. So like looking at the small details of we're like looking at ducks, and I feel just excited about these little things. Because I see him getting excited. I'm like, oh yeah, ducks are cool as fuck. Look at those cool feathers, man. Oh wow. Like he'll get excited about a tree, and we're examining tree bark. And I'm like, man, when's the last time I looked at bugs? And I think about when I was a kid following ants around and doing whatever. And like, this is like, I don't know. It just makes you appreciate the little things all over again, and stuff that I thought before I had them that would be lame. Like, oh man, I'm going to have to, I actually really enjoy and love doing. Because it's fun to see somebody excited about something. I don't know.
It gets your head out of the clouds, basically.
Yeah, it gets out of the clouds and out of my ass, out of my phone, out of my whatever. So yeah, it's really fun.
The end of the other day when I make sour cream and onion dip. I just do like regular sour cream in the blue box of Lipton's, and she's like, "Oh my god, Daddy's like world famous dip," she calls it, and she thinks like I invented this fucking incredible yet simple creation. And it's like, oh yeah, like this thing is so fucking good, and it's like, but through a kid's eyes, the first time they've ever had it, it's like crack to them. So that's awesome. Ducks rule too, by the way. Ducks are so underrated.
That was a weird example, but just like getting to show, like one of my favorite Chaps knows because he's come to New York City. I'm like, Chaps, did you know that this building in 1932 was blah blah blah? And like I love showing people stuff. It's my favorite thing. Like I almost took the test to be an official. You have to take an actual test to be an official New York City tour guide. And I was studying up for it. I wanted to take it and be before Barstool and stuff. And like a while back, I wanted to be on the side, a New York City tour guide. I love showing people shit. And so it's kind of being a tour guide through life a little bit.
Yeah,
so
that's a good way to put it.
Like, man, this is a fork and we get to eat all sorts of cool shit with it and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. I love it. Yeah.
I think I said this to you once, and I don't remember if you said I was right or wrong, but I said, Kate, you strike me as someone that used to give tours at college. Were you a tour guide at college? Like, did you give tour guide? Because that's the other thing I thought you were. I
was too fucked up. But if I hadn't been such a piece of shit, I absolutely would have been for sure.
You have that kind of vibe to you. You know what I mean? You're bubbly, but you could like walk backwards really good. I feel like you have like enough wherewithal about you to kind of walk backwards.
Oh, I always learn something when we're driving together. If I'm driving somewhere, like when me, Kate, and Cons go on a trip, I always want Kate as the A driver, like the person in the passenger seat, so she could be telling me stuff because I know she's going to tell me stuff along the way that's going to keep.
If I'm going on a road trip, I Wikipedia all the towns on the route so that as we're driving, I can tell whoever I'm with things about the towns we're going through.
And it'll be small things, not huge things. Like this is not like this is the arches in St. Louis. She'll be like, you see this bridge? This bridge was actually built by an engineer that started out in World War II. And whenever he learned how to do it here, he moved right.
Yeah,
like
so
that's what you do.
Stupid minutia, but
and then she'll do it, and then she'll immediately apologize and say that's boring. And every time I'll be like, no, I enjoy it.
Sorry.
I actually like it.
Yeah.
And that's what Cash is gonna love. You're gonna just take him through the fucking walk of life, or hate, or despise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
One random thing for me, I guess I had one the other day too, was Sienna and AJ were playing video games together, and usually that results in us yelling at one of them or both of them because they end up fighting. But they had played a different game and they had beat a level together, and I just saw them like celebrating that they beat it, and they were jumping up and down. And it's just kind of cool to see that like you created this friendship, you created these two little maniacs, for lack of a better word, and everything about that interaction you basically made. So the fact that I own their souls, it just feels fucking good.
That's a great one. Yeah. People forget you own the souls.
Yeah, exactly. I made them. I brought you in this world. I could take you out. That's what my dad used to always say. Kind of fucked up now looking back.
Yeah, in hindsight.
We'll go to this one next. We'll go Paolo. Love the show. And you guys talking about school lunches the other day. That was a little while ago. What's the best school lunch you could build today? Entree, side, and drink.
Ooh, I know me right off the bat.
All right, hit us.
And this is elementary school. There was a lunch lady. I was a charmer. My mom was a speech pathologist at the same school too, so I had a little bit of an in elementary school. But she would always sneak me a little extra something. Okay, so I would get, usually it was one of those strawberry eclair popsicles. Remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that strawberry eclair popsicle. It was the giant cans of mixed fruit. Do you remember them? In the super thick syrup and the grapes.
And
the grapes
this
were
is
like
good for you. It's
mush.
fruit cocktail.
It's good
like
for you.
86% sugar.
Yeah, the grapes were like just complete mush. Somehow they just disintegrated in your mouth.
If you ate the grapes in canned fruit cocktail, you're an absolute savage person.
Oh, I ate them all, buddy.
Oh.
And then there'd always be some random
Checks out.
hard piece in there that would like hurt your tooth. You're like, what is that doing in here? And then there'd be like 2 cherry pieces per 50-gallon drum of it. But
that were the
love
brightest red in the history of the world, like
So
very
red.
artificial flavor.
like nuclear red. So strawberry eclair popsicle.
Chernobyl cherries is what they call them.
The mixed fruit, and my school for some reason called it weenie winks, but it was a 2-foot hot dog that was just
For
delicious.
elementary school kids.
Yes, dude.
2
It was
feet.
weenie winks Friday. It took
2
up the whole
feet,
tray.
Kate, that's like this.
Oh, maybe it was a foot long hot dog. Maybe it was a foot long.
2 feet is enormous.
I'm sticking by it. Chocolate eclair fruit cup 2-foot hot dog.
I gotta go to the bathroom, Miss Rachel. I got diarrhea from the Tinky Winks.
Yeah, but that would be mine. I think.
Oh wow.
That's where you started making. That's probably why you had to invent lumber dogs.
Yes, it's probably true.
Get them, fit them
The
all in one
Lincoln
bun.
Logs of meals.
That's right. Mine would probably be, did you guys have a meal called Italian Dunkers?
No.
Oh, Nick is
no.
gonna love this.
Is
one.
gonna go. Is it? I was saying, you fucking with Nick right now, or is this
I wish
real?
Large was on here for Italian Dunker chat. So they would take, like the frozen garlic bread with cheese on it that they would put, that they sell in like every grocery stores that come in like the little package you put in there. So they would cut those up and you would get like 5 little pieces of the cheesy garlic bread. And then they would give you meat marinara sauce and you would just dip the French bread
That
into
sounds
the marinara
so
sauce.
good.
It is. I had forgotten about it for probably 20 years. One night, 3 a.m., I was 3G goofing, sat up in my bed, and I go, Italian Dunkers. And like, I wrote it in the note app on my phone so I wouldn't forget. And I told my wife the next morning, I was like, we got to make homemade Italian Dunkers. And we did it the next weekend, and it was divine.
So
Italian
good.
Dunkers.
You know what you use to make those? Old hot dog buns.
Oh, yeah.
Soak them with butter, a little garlic salt, put them in the oven, get them nice
Air
and crispy.
fryer, Kate. Air fryer.
Air fryer.
Air
Pardon
fryer.
me. And you got yourself an Italian dunker, my friend. Yeah.
Kate, do you have an air fryer?
Captain Khan's brought me one.
No.
Dropped it off himself personally.
Nick, let's edit that out. I don't like making Captain Cons look good on the show. I
I
only
know.
want negative things about
Well,
him
he
being
does
so
it because he knows eventually Kate will bring it up and it'll make him look good. It's a long
Yeah.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Brought me
Kate-
a baked ziti when I had COVID. Go ahead.
Kate, how was the food at Captain Khan's wedding?
It was
Actually, wait,
delicious.
Hold
Oh,
on.
yes.
This is gonna be brought to you by Sirius. All right, we're back. Excuse me. Sirius, the old home of the Chaps and Kate show, which
Mhm.
could it be
High
coming
Haters,
back?
people
I
forget.
don't know. And do people forget High Haters too? People forget
Is
High
it
Haters.
coming
Yeah.
back? Have we
I don't
heard
know.
that?
I just like throwing a little speculation in there. I don't think so. I think they're
Ooh.
just an advertiser. But
If
hey,
it is, I don't want to do the fucking late night again. I don't want to do that.
No.
Oh,
that was
please.
absurd.
But I
when you
just wanna
started
listen
that
to
late
it.
night one.
10 to midnight.
Oh my God. And who had to stay with you guys?
Bren.
Bread.
Oh God,
Mhm.
poor Bren. That's why Bren was always tired in the morning. He was
Yeah.
up with you, jerk.
Probably.
He
And also
would stay till like midnight and then be there at like 8, 9 o'clock like everybody else.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh, you basically killed Bren's brain. You too.
Yeah.
And serious. And there was no reason for it too. You just wanted to do the late night show?
Well, I don't think at the time because I had only been at Barstool for like 2 years. I don't think I'd really earned the spot for like a normal time. And so I told Dave, like, just let me have a shot and I'll do the afternoon or late night time. And Casey wanted to do it. And then so we did the Kate time, and then they moved us for the Portnoy show, which was great too.
Yep.
That was way better.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I apologize. I wanted to hear your review of, Captain Khan's whole wedding, but the food, we chose the menu, Large and I, we chose the menu a few months ago beforehand. So what did you think of it?
I have to say, so it was obviously it was down in Florida, and my parents came, so they were watching the baby. And it was one of the first nights, I'm not doing babysitters yet or anything like that. So I never get to go out, have a meal anywhere. I haven't, I think it's been like 2 years really. Maybe 5 times in 2 years have I gone. So I looked at it and I was so nice. They had a live band. I'm sitting there with a good meal and a glass of wine, watching a band. And I just felt like I was having it was such a delight to me. I really enjoyed it. The food was so good. I'm trying to remember what I had because I did have 2 martinis before dinner started. But the hors d'oeuvres
and
were
that
really
shows
good.
Katie mom too, because 2 martinis back in the day would have been getting ready in the room.
Oh yeah, that would have been, and that's where I stopped. I had 2 martinis and a glass of wine, and then I switched to water for the evening. So, but oh my god, it was really good. I'm trying to remember what
was the pasta bar good? Do you remember the pasta bar at all?
The pasta bar, the hors d'oeuvres were really good. Everybody was talking about. Everybody was sucking that stuff down. It was great.
Good to know.
I approve.
Good job by Alex picking everything.
Alex nailed the whole scene. I just love her. She's a delight.
I like that she talks more shit about cons than any of us.
Yes, it's true.
That's my favorite aspect of his entire relationship.
Could you imagine dealing with Captain Cons nonstop? That's just your husband that you wait from the morning you wake up to the morning time you go to bed.
Very loud.
Very Jersey.
I'm looking for the purple koozie. Where's the purple?
Has anybody seen my ascot?
I know Large would like to have kick cons too. So maybe maybe we could have
just bring cons on and just make them sit there on mute.
Also, can I say how weird it is to not be super fucked up at a wedding?
Oh yeah, good
point. Normally weddings is gloves off. I'm getting alcohol poisoning tonight. Let's go. And no matter how old I am, and it's very different. Being at a wedding, present at a wedding.
That comes with parenthood and just getting older. Is now you just look at the barnyard animals basically on the dance floor. I'm sure Cons went to school with a few at West Point. I'm sure you saw some shit on that dance floor that you would participate in a few years earlier that you didn't usually.
Well, and 4:50 comes early in the morning, and that comes whether you had a couple margaritas or not.
Yeah, baby's waking up regardless. So I cannot imagine caring for him hungover. I just can't. I don't know how parents do it. I don't know.
You already had pain on your face. Just the idea.
No, because
there's plenty of times where you wake up on a couch Sunday morning or whatever, and you're a little bit hungover, and your kids just want to throw on their shows. Something about the way that children's shows sound when you're hungover just makes you want to die then and there. It's the worst.
I babysat in high school and college when I was super fucking hungover, but they weren't mine. So it was all right, I'll see you later. I'll be on the couch. But different vibe.
I don't get hungover really ever. It's very rare I get any kind of hangover. But the first time I woke up just feeling like shit the next morning, not a full blown hangover with a child, I said that's the last time I'll ever do it, and I haven't done it since. A couple of drinks max, you just can't do it. So 4:50 a.m. God bless you, Kate. I thought it's bad. AJ's been basically at 5:30 nonstop for about 6 months now. It's been 4:50. He was never a 4. He was actually a good sleeper when he was a kid. So they do change potentially. So I will say that there's a chance he gets better. Also a chance he gets worse. I don't know what's going on.
And they go through phases too. They're teething, they're sick, they're this, they're that. He'll have 3 good nights in a row. And as soon as I start to feel oh, thank God, nope, something else pops up.
And hair off of his hand again?
Yeah, I accidentally took a hair off his hand. And I'm a night owl. And so I'm up till 1 a.m. almost every night. I just cannot fall asleep before that. I leave my phone in the other room, whatever. I'm up till 1 a.m. and then he's up at 4. I don't think I've gotten more than 3.5 hours of sleep straight in over a year now.
Have you thought of this is what, if my family lived closer and I was able to do this at the age that Cash is now, taking him down to your mom and dad's, you dropping them off at your mom and dad's, you finding the nice like 3-star, 3.5-star hotel that's around, like a Holiday Inn, and just going, dropping them off and going and go to bed at like 10 o'clock and wake up naturally.
No, I'd be like, well, what's he up to? I'm like,
but he would be totally fine. Your parents raised you, they raised your brother, and they've been around kids.
They're
he would
dragging
be totally
him around
fine
in
for the
a
night,
beer box
and it would do
with a belt.
wonders for you. Like wonders for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you thought
know if I
about
could.
potentially just going up the turnpike a couple of exits and leaving them at a house where they just spent the week in the Bahamas with a wife that you know is a very good woman? They call her a saint. They're going to be relaxed.
Uncle
They're
Clem
be
has a
feeling
pool.
Good. This is not Uncle Clem's territory. I'm
You have a pool?
I do not have a pool. I have a pool man who's a dad who's a pool man. I could
But
get
he's
you
got a pool, right?
Access.
Oh
to
yeah,
pools.
large does not have. My dad has a pool. Yes. My
Yeah,
dad has
that's and then right down the road.
Yeah, they right down the road.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
I was thinking more of Large's house, chaps, not my house. My house is like 2 hours away. She's not going to want to do that. That's going to be way too
Like
long.
she loves a good road trip.
Love a good road trip.
You can tell me all the
Interesting.
things about all the bridges along the way too. So
Mhm.
that would
Just
be
have
perfect.
CNN and AJ watch Cash.
You're
Be
not.
fun.
Yeah, you're not. I don't think you're selling Kate on that one. She won't even leave it with her own parents.
Yeah.
Let alone two fucking shitty kids. But thanks for coming on, Kate. I think we got to have you back sooner rather than later. You keep us abreast of everything, obviously through Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Kate Barstool, is that Kate Barstool
Yep.
and everything?
Very original of me at
Yes.
Kate Barstool. That is correct.
So check her out. Check out the Barstool Grown Up YouTube as well. That Nick's been growing that, and we'll be posting stuff on there.
Yeah, Nick just helped me edit. Well, help me. He edited the whole fucking thing. He did everything. I just made a video in my closet the last time I went on a trip of what I packed, like traveling with the baby. And especially, I really focus on the bag that you take on the plane that gets you through the flight with the baby, what you put in there. And it's actually just the Yingling freebie Yingling bag that gets you through the flight. So stay tuned. That video is coming out. I'll help you travel with your kid.
You should have started off the podcast with that little teaser there, but that's the host's fault. That's on me.
Yeah,
I'll
no.
take blame for it. So thanks for coming on, Kate. We'll have you on soon. Next time Large isn't around because you guys hate each other so much.
Yeah.
And Daddy Boy, I'll
Worst.
see your beautiful face next week. I love you guys. Take care and stay safe, stay sane.